All right, y'all. Well, I am back from I want to say post office, but I didn't have to go that far. I only had to go as far as my box, and I picked up X-Force Youngblood or Youngblood X-Force. Which one is X-Force Youngblood? Hat tip to Terry Sala over at 90s Comics Strike Back Facebook group for posting this. I've seen the cover, but I just never picked it up. And he posted some pictures from the interiors, and I just knew, like, all right, cool. This is rad. Got to get me one. So I went on eBay. And speaking of $1.50, which we just talked about on my last stream, Ink and Gannon here. Comics used to be $1.50, and I got this for $1.50. I ended up paying 3 times the amount in shipping, but it is what it is. And a lot of these books are hard to come by at the LCS, and I've got a few near me, and sometimes I just like to take the easy route and I get it on eBay. So my LCS, you'll have to forgive me. And let's be honest, sometimes your prices are crazy. So if I got this at my local comic book shop, I'd probably end up paying more anyway. But here it is. Let's take a look. This is X-Force Youngblood by Stephen Platt. The interiors that I did see were cool, and they led me to want to go grab this. So I did. And if you're not familiar with Stephen Platt's work, you're really missing out because his stuff is rad. Very fine, near mint. Awesome. Can't ask for anything better than that. So they did a Youngblood X-Force as well. So this was a Marvel and Image crossover back in the 90s. And I think the Youngblood X-Force crossover was done by Rob Liefeld, I believe. I have to look at that, but let's see. I'm going to have to say Rob Liefeld did something with this book. Let's see. So, Eric Stevenson. Pencils, Stephen Platt with Dan Fraga. Richard Horry, Ching Lau, Michael Lin Chang, Mark Pagliarillo, and Andy Park. I recognize Dan Fraga and Andy Park. The others, not so much. Inks, Marlo Alquiza, Eric Canton, blah, blah, blah. Norm Ratman, know that name. Okay, so no Rob Liefeld. Editor, Rob Liefeld. All right, there he is. Editor-in-Chief, Bob Harris. Okay, some names we know, some we don't. But this is Stephen Platt, X-Force Youngblood. So this looks like the Dazzler. I'll tell you when I find the page that I actually saw that was posted on the Facebook group, but it just kind of like was just like, yes, I need this in my life, which caused me to go out and get it. So, but yeah, Stephen Platt, some of my favorite stuff of his is Prophet. I think that was his first work with Image with Rob Liefeld, Extreme Studios. I don't know, he may have done Amazon's here. I think they're here for my neighbor though. He may have done Moon Knight first, I think. A lot of people talk about his Moon Knight stuff, which I never really saw. So I don't know if it came before or after his work with Image, but check out this cool spread here. Is that okay? I was just like, is that Boom Boom? That's her name is Meltdown. I've never heard of Meltdown. Caliban, Warpath, Sunspot, Siren, Shatterstar, Cable, Domino. Interesting. Never heard of Meltdown. Never heard of her before. Dun dun dun. Some typical Stephen Platt face. Sometimes his faces are a little wonky. This one might be one of them. But his shading, man, is so cool. So fun. Dun dun dun. So let's see here. So looking at this arm, So, all right, me as like a little kid, teenager dude looking at this stuff, like I'm just like, no idea what's going on here. And even as an adult, I'm like, all right, so forearm, what is going on here? Here's like a bicep, kinda. It's kind of wonky. Gonna be honest, it's kind of wonky. Yeah. So sometimes Stephen Platt gets a little wonky on his stuff, but it's still fun to look at. So here's Youngblood. We got Die Hard, Bad Rock, Shaft. This dude, don't know who that is. All right, I'm waiting for this page that I saw that he posted online. It looked better than this. Oh, here it is right here. This is what I saw. So here is what caught my attention. Got these guys and this chick. And at first I thought it was Rob Liefeld. And then I was like, nope, that is Stephen Platt. So here's a typical Stephen Platt 90s face. So I mentioned, all right, so Prophet, I really liked Prophet when he did that. That was just awesome. Cool story, good storytelling. He's like in, World War II. It's actually a simulator. It's not for real, but he's just like taking out guys left and right. That was super fun. The Four. But then he also did Soul Saga, which I've done a video on, which is like rad as heck, man. That might top my love for Prophet. It's the Soul Saga stuff. Lots and lots of double page spreads, just really cool stuff. But yeah, man, this is total 90s Stephen Platt, man. Cool stuff. So I'll have to read this, but it is fun. So you can tell some different artists here. This might be Andy Park, actually. So very interesting. Cool. I'm excited to read this. Another book I picked up recently was this. Whoops. Boom, boom, boom. Avengers Taking Aim. Mike Deodato. So he's another artist from like the 90s kind of era. This is June 95. But yeah, another artist I really, I may have like one other book he's done, maybe one or two. But he's got that cool style. And so I like looking at this, seeing different artists take on like the 90s kind of style. This has like a Silvestri / Jim Lee feel to me. But it's just cool. So I like to see what other artists did and just, yeah, I love the 90s stuff. So it's like, all right, let me check this out. The only thing is not super bad, but Deodato did the breakdowns and someone else did the finishes. So it's not all him, but you get traces of Deodato's work. But I do have another book that he did. I think it might be She-Hulk, but I could be mistaken. So this is Mike Deodato breakdowns, Tom Palmer on finishes, but you kind of still get the traces of, Deodato's work in here. But it's cool. I dig it. So, and this is more old school, I feel like. This is when Marvel's still doing the old paper. This is like the newsprint stuff. But, man, Image and, kind of like reforming how comics were done was like huge, man. Better paper, better colors. Like this is 95. So I want to say by that time, Image is like doing the better paper and stuff and just knocking it out of the park. So there's some cool Deodato work right there. Tom Palmer finishes. So yeah, I was very unfamiliar with Mike Deodato's work back then, but I have an appreciation for it now. Draws really nice ladies, good, powerful superheroes, and then good layouts. It's very 90s with this stuff. So good stuff. It's on the upper echelon of 90s work for sure. Some guys try it and don't do so well, but I feel like Deodato, he captures it very well. It's like a good combination of like a Mark Silvestri, Rob Liefeld, those guys. So very cool. So anywho, something I picked up just because it was cheap. Yeah, I think it was $2.50. I think I originally marked it like $5, and he gave it to me half off. So I was like, all right, man, can't argue with that. Dun, dun, dun. Interesting. So yeah, who's the inker on this? This reminds me of like Carl Alstadler, if I'm saying that right. I guess Tom Palmer is inking too. Finishes Tom Palmer, colorist John Calzi. Yeah, so no inker, so that would be Tom Palmer on finishes. Interesting. All right, cool. Well, good deal. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I just wanted to crack this open, see what I've been missing all these years. Let's see when this came out. This is August 1996, way back in 96. So yeah. Cool stuff. All right, y'all. It has been fun. I will read through this, give you my take on it, if it's worth going to pick up. Interesting. Yeah, I don't love it when you're in a book and then like some other artist takes over, and like that is just, is that Prophet? That looks weird. Look at how big that hand is. It looks like a midget because the size of his head and the size of his hands and his torso looks really small. That just looks weird to me. But this looks cool. This is why I bought the book. That just looks cool. Cool shading, good figures, good background. All right. And then you got this wonky arm. It happens. It's Stephen Platt, but it's still cool. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I had to crack this open. I was so excited. So, till next time, I'll be working on Gannon tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. Until next time, peace out.